Hey everyone, welcome back to another video with Mike117. Today we're going to be going over the game Valheim. This video is for Brian, who is interested in playing Valheim, and so we're just going to be doing a brief overview of what the game's about. So kind of starting with what is Valheim. It's a game about exploring a huge fantasy world inspired by Norse mythology and Viking culture. Um, and You're basically sent here by Odin to recapture the Forsaken, which are these boss characters you see all around me. Well, at least their heads, anyway. Because you see, each boss is in its own biome, and they have their own strengths and weaknesses and so on that you have to go and exploit or use to your advantage and so on and so forth. Um, but once you beat that boss, you can then, it'll drop its head, and you can bring that head back to the altar to hang here, where they will each give you different abilities. And depending on those abilities, you know, you might need one versus the other, because you can't have two at the same time. But let's say you're collecting a bunch of materials to build, then you might want the Elder, so you can have faster wood cutting. Or maybe you're going exploring, so you go over and get Motor's ability, because it'll help you sail faster. But that's basically what the Forsaken are and kind of why you're in this land and things like that. But let's go take a look at the biomes. So starting off with the first biome, this is the meadows. So the meadows are your starting biome. They're the most peaceful, and they have the weakest creatures, but they also have access to the least amount of like good materials and things like that. But a great biome to start your base at. As you can see, I've built a pretty extensive base all up along the hillside. Just one thing to note, that the more you build and the more you change the terrain, the slower the game will get. You can see my FPS is quite low, um, and that's because this is a very heavily built up area and modified area. This was a much bigger mountain that me and a couple friends crushed down and leveled out to make this castle and things. So it's pretty tough on the frames there. But this is the first biome. Let's go take a look at the second one. In the next biome, we have the Black Forest. So this will be the second biome you enter, and this is basically, you have to beat, well, you don't have to, but recommended you come here after you beat the first boss, so that way you can come here and get more materials and better materials to build your kind of a base up, your weapons up, and armor and everything like that. Just to go real quick into a little bit what I was talking about earlier, these are the altars you'd go to. And so you see how you can burn items. I would basically collect whatever item this boss needs and then throw it into the bowl, and that would summon this boss. And that's how you unlock each one at each altar. But that's the second biome. Let's go take a look at the third. So, like we were talking about, this is the when we're talking about challenges and how each biome has their own challenges. This here is the swamp biome. So this is the first time that when you enter a new biome, the effects of the biome will also hinder you. So in the top right-hand corner of the screen on my map, you can see that I entered the swamp, and now I'm in Black Forest. And so if I'm in the swamp for long enough, you'll see everything around me start to change. It'll get foggier and darker, and you'll see that I become wet, so I move slower and get tired faster. Um, this is all part of the biome where it's harder and there's more powerful mobs in here, but of course there's also better materials in here. Um, and so this is where the game kind of takes its first leap from like not so bad to uh-oh. So, yep, this is the swamp biome. And then once you beat this boss, we'll be moving on to the fourth biome. Now here in the fourth biome, ooh, looking a little laggy. I think that's just OBS not liking what's going on here. Um, ooh, yeah, I should probably get inside. Hold on. There we go. In the fourth biome, another element is introduced, and that is the cold. So if I don't have the wolf cape on that I do now, I will begin to take cold damage if I'm not by a heat source. And this is just another element of the biomes that kind of take effect on you um, when you're exploring and things like that. So let's go to the next biome. And then this is the plains biome, which is quite honestly the deadliest biome there is. Now, I know the Mistlands update did just come out. However, I have not gotten the chance to play it yet, so it might be worse than this. But everything, this is literally named a Deathsquito. Literally everything on this biome, or in this biome, wants to and can kill you. Um, it's kind of insane, but uh, yeah, just this is pretty much, well, it was the last biome. Now there's the Mistlands, which I'm not going to get into. I'm just going to stop the biome stuff here. Um, but what I'd like to talk about, since we are at the biome, since we just got done talking about the biomes, we'll then talk about the tier progressions of tools and weapons and things like that. Yep, cool. So once you've gone to all the biomes or whichever biome you've gotten to, you can then start your tier progression. Sorry, you can start your tier progression at any biome. But as you go further, you'll unlock different materials, such as like when you first start out, you'll have stone and wooden tools, and then slowly progress to bronze, then iron, then black metal, and so forth. And there's silver, but silver is really agitating to harvest. So, but anyway, um, so each of your tools will have a progression in that sense of different materials to be built in, and then each tool has an upgradable number. And based on the level of your workbench or forge, depends or will dictate kind of how high you can get that level. Um, so, for example, I have a level 4 workbench. So I can build or I can upgrade to the max level of tools and weapons tiers. Um, and then same goes for the forge, level 7. So I have all the different kinds of upgrades that you need for it to get it to that level so I can build the highest tier there is. Um, and so this tier progression is kind of everything in Valheim. So whether it comes to your tools, your armor, your weapons, it even affects your skills. So if we go to here, you'll see the different skills that you can have, and there's pretty much everything you can think of: sneaking, bow and arrow, swimming, woodcutting, running, jumping, all that. And so the only way to upgrade these levels is by doing that action. And the more you do that action, the higher your level will get. Now, the catch is that um, anytime you die, you will lose 10% of all skills. Um, so that is a bummer. That's the one thing that's been such a pain. Um, so just don't die. Odin's counting on you. But so once you've gathered all the materials you want or need for something like that, just head to your tool benches for upgrades and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover on Valheim. This definitely does not cover all of it, but this is just kind of like a brief overview from my perspective. The game kind of reminds me of a mix of Minecraft and RuneScape. Um, and so, like, in the sense of where you have to work on all your levels, your different kinds of levels and stuff like that, like in RuneScape, and you also get all the freedom of crafting, uh, like in Minecraft. So, yeah, check the game out. Give it a try. Design some cool builds, and hopefully I'll see you on. See you in the next one.